Good morning, my dear students. Hope all of you are well. Today, I'll revise your first chapter, that is the language of chemistry, through different types of question answer. Okay. First question I am writing here. That why Cl has fractional value of atomic weight. That is 35.5. So all of you know that chlorine has two isotopes. One is chlorine 17 35 and another is chlorine 17 37. Okay. Now in this case, when we are calculating the atomic mass, then we have to take the average. Okay. And in the nature, the abundance or ratio of these two isotopes is 3:1. Okay. So definitely when we will calculate the atomic mass or atomic weight, okay, we have to take the average. So the average atomic weight of chlorine, that will be that 35 into 3 plus 37 into 1 divided by 4. If you do it, you will get 35.5. Okay, so that is why we are getting that atomic weight of chlorine is fractional. Okay. Next, another question. Question number 2. That what information does the following chemical equation convey? So chemical equation I am writing, that is Zn plus H2SO4 dilute forming ZnSO4 plus H2. Okay. So in this case, you have to tell what information does this following chemical equation convey. First one will tell about the qualitative information, that zinc is a metal that is reacting with dilute sulfuric acid, okay, and forming zinc sulfate, and there will be formation of hydrogen gas. So this is the qualitative, okay, information. But regarding the quantitative information, so here we have to tell that in this case that one molecule of zinc, okay, or one zinc atom is reacting with the one molecule of sulfuric acid, forming one molecule of zinc sulfate and one molecule of hydrogen. So zinc and sulfuric acid, these are the reactant. So one atom zinc is reacting with one molecule of sulfuric acid, forming one molecule of zinc sulfate and one molecule of hydrogen. But when you read the chemical bonding chapter, then you will be able to understand that zinc sulfate is an ionic compound. There is no concept of molecule. Okay, although it is written in many books. Okay, so better you tell that 1 mole means Avogadro number of zinc. 1 mole zinc is reacting with 1 mole sulfuric acid and forming 1 mole zinc sulfate and 1 mole hydrogen gas. And in another way you can tell, if you take the atomic weight of the zinc atomic weight is 65, and if you calculate the molecular weight of the sulfuric acid, that will be the 98, and if you calculate the molecular formula mass of zinc sulfate, that will come as 161 and hydrogen 2. So from here you can tell that 65 parts zinc is reacting with the 98 parts sulfuric acid, forming 161 parts of zinc sulfate and 2 parts of hydrogen gas. Okay. And another information you can tell here, that this hydrogen gas, okay, that from 1 mole zinc you will get that 22.4 liter of hydrogen gas at NTP, okay, or that is the normal temperature and pressure, or you can tell STP, standard temperature pressure. Actually in this case both are same. Okay. Next question, another you can tell that if you add these two, that 65 and 98, what you will get? You will get 163. Here also you are getting 163. So that means this equation is following or obeying the law of conservation of mass. So the total mass of the reactant in the left hand side is equal to the total mass of the product in the right hand side. Okay. So that is also another information that also you can tell. Okay, these are the quantitative information. Next, another question. Question number 3. Given that calculate the percentage of water of crystallization in the sample of blue vitriol. Okay, blue vitriol mass is CuSO4 dot 5H2. So this is the formula, okay, of the blue vitriol. Now atomic mass of copper will be 63.5, sulfur will be 32, oxygen is 16, oxygen 16, this is sulfur, this is copper, and water is 19, total that molecular weight, sorry 18. Okay. Now if you add this, okay, you will get the molecular weight or molecular mass of CuSO4 5H2O. Okay, so molecular mass of CuSO4 dot 5H2O, that you will get, that is 249.5 gram. So here we are converting that mass into gram molecular mass. Okay. And next we have to calculate the total amount of water, okay, present in 1 mole CuSO4 dot 5H2. So weight of water, okay, that will be 5 water is present, 5 water of crystallization, 5 into 18, that will be the 90. So percentage of water in blue vitriol will be 90 divided by 249.5 into 100%. Now if you calculate, you will get it that 36%, 36.00%. Okay. So in this way you have to solve the percentage mass percentage calculation numericals. Okay, these are very important for your exam. Another will do next question number 4. Calculate the percentage composition of each element in KClO3. Okay, so here you have to first calculate the molar mass of KClO3. Potassium 39, chlorine 35.5, oxygen is equal to 16. So if you calculate the molar mass or molecular weight of KClO3, you will get the value that is 122.5 gram. Okay, so definitely here percentage of potassium, that will be 39 divided by 122.5 into 100%. If you calculate, you will get 31.83%. Next one is percentage of chlorine, that will be 35.5 divided by 122.5 into 100%. So from here you will get that 28.98. Next, percentage of oxygen. Okay, so it will be 48 divided by 122.5 into 100%. So definitely you will get 39.18%. Okay, and if you add all this, that means 39.18 to 28.98 and this one 31.83, finally you will get 100%. Okay, near about 100%. Next question we will discuss that balancing of chemical equation. So what equation may be given? You have to write balance equation. Next, question number 5, that write the balanced chemical equation. Write the balanced chemical equation of the following word equation. Okay, so here one I am writing, that is chlorine plus sulfur dioxide plus given water. So it will produce sulfuric acid plus hydrogen chloride. First you have to know the formula, otherwise you will not able to write the balanced equation. Okay, so first you write chlorine exists as Cl2, sulfur dioxide is SO2, it is reacting with water and it will form H2SO4 plus there will be formation of HCl. Okay, so in this case you have to balance this equation. Okay, now here you see as 2 chlorine atom is there in left side and here one chlorine atom is there, so here you can write 2. Now here next we will balance the sulfur is same both side, and next one is we will balance that hydrogen. Here 2 plus 2, 4 hydrogen is there, here 2 hydrogen is there, so if you multiply it by 2 then it is coming twice H2. So total number of oxygen this side, that is 2 oxygen plus 2 oxygen, 4 oxygen, here also 4. Now it is balanced. So now this is a balanced chemical equation. So in this way, by heat and trial method, you have to balance the chemical equation. Okay. Another we will discuss. Taking the example of a big chemical equation, that is potassium dichromate. Potassium dichromate plus hydrochloric acid. That will form potassium chloride plus chromium chloride. Plus water plus chlorine. Okay. So in this case, potassium dichromate, its formula will be K2Cr2O7 plus HCl, forming potassium chloride, that is KCl, and chromium chloride, that is CrCl3 plus H2O plus Cl2. Now you have to balance this equation. Now here first you see this side 2 potassium is there and here 1 potassium is there. So definitely you have to put 2 here. Next what we will do here, that chromium. Chromium this side is how much? This side is 2 chromium atom is there. Here 1 chromium atom, so we will put here 2. Next one is oxygen. This side 7 oxygen is there and here only 1 oxygen is there. You can multiply it by 7. Okay. Now here 7 into 2, 14 hydrogen, and here 1 hydrogen, so you have to write 14 hydrogen. Okay. Now you check the chlorine. Total chlorine is here 14 this side, and this side 6 plus 2, that is 8. So 8, that means how much required? 6 chlorine. So here you put 3. Now this equation is balanced. Okay. So in this way, heat and trial method, you have to balance the chemical equation. Many examples are given, okay, in your book that you have to practice, as well as exercise solutions I am giving. Achha, next question, give the empirical formula. Give the empirical formula. So definitely here molecular formula will be given. You have to find out the empirical formula. First one is given benzene. So you have to know the formula of benzene, that is C6H6. So here what you have to do, you have to take the ratio of carbon and hydrogen, that is 6:6. That means 1:1. So empirical formula of benzene, empirical formula of benzene, that will be CH. Okay, hope you can understand. So in this way you have to find out the empirical formula from molecular formula. Next one, some MCQ question will discuss, that choose the correct option from the options given below. Modern atomic symbols are based on the method proposed by, options are given, Bohr, Dalton, Berzelius, alchemists. Definitely John Jacob Berzelius, okay, first proposed the letter symbol or modern atomic symbols. So answer will be Berzelius. Next one is given the number of carbon atoms in a hydrogen carbonate radical. So first you have to write the hydrogen carbonate radical. It is coming from the carbonic acid. Okay, so this is the carbonic acid, H2CO3, and when it releases one proton, that will form hydrogen carbonate radical. So in this radical only one carbon atom is present. Okay, only one carbon atom we are observing over here. Okay, so definitely your answer will be 1. So question was the number of carbon atoms in a hydrogen carbonate radical is 1, 2, 3, 4. Answer will be 1. Next one is given the formula of iron 3 sulfate. Option is given Fe3SO4, FeSO4 whole thrice, Fe2SO4 whole thrice, and FeSO4. Definitely option C or option 3 is the correct answer, Fe2SO4 whole thrice. Actually ferric sulfate that means iron, okay, in the 3 state, okay, and sulfate, that is SO4 2 minus, this is plus 3 and it is 2. So its formula will be Fe2SO4 whole thrice. So option 3 is the correct answer. Next one is given in water. The hydrogen to oxygen mass ratio is 1:8, 1:16, 1:32 and 1:64. Definitely that hydrogen, that means water formula is H2O. Total hydrogen is 2. So hydrogen is to oxygen mass ratio will be 2 is to oxygen is 16. That means 1:8. Hope you can understand. Next one is given the formula of sodium carbonate is Na2CO3 and that of calcium carbonate is what? Options are given CaHCO3, CaHCO3 whole twice, Ca2HCO3 and CaHCO3 whole thrice. So calcium bicarbonate formula will be calcium will be plus 2 and bicarbonate, that means this minus 1. Here it is 2, it is 1. So definitely it will form CaHCO3 whole twice. Hope you can understand. Next one is given that correct the following statement. Molecular formula represents an element. So you have to write that molecular formula represents a molecule. Molecular formula of water is H2O2. Now you know that you have to write molecular formula of water is H2O. A molecule of sulfur is monoatomic. So you have to write that molecule of sulfur is octaatomic and its formula is S8. Okay, and its structure will be like crown. And there sulfurs are situated. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. S8. That is why it is octaatomic. Okay. Next one is given CO and CO. One is written that CO, another is written C capital O. CO represents one cobalt metal, okay. So this is indicating cobalt and CO is one molecule of carbon monoxide. Hope you can understand the difference. Next one is given formula of iron 3 oxide. All of you know it is written that wrong, that formula of iron oxide is FeO, but it will be iron 3 oxide. So it will be what the formula of iron 3 oxide will be Fe2O3, that you have to write. Next, another percentage composition numerical we will discuss. Question given, it is taken from your book, okay. Question 9, that urea is a very important nitrogenous fertilizer. Its formula is CO N2H4. Calculate the percentage of carbon. Calculate the percentage of carbon in urea. So actually urea formula is this one, C double bond O NH2 NH2. So this is one amide functional group, okay. Now first you have to calculate the molecular mass of the urea, okay. So you know that carbon is equal to atomic weight 12, nitrogen is equal to 14, oxygen 16 and hydrogen is equal to 1. So if you calculate the molecular mass of urea, you will get it is 60. Okay. Then what will be the percentage of carbon? Only one carbon atom is there, that is 12 by 60 into 100%. So it is cutting 5, 20. So it is coming 20%. So in this way oxygen percentage one may ask, nitrogen percent one may ask, that also you have to, okay, calculate. So So here the question is only to find out the percentage of carbon, that is only you have calculated the percentage of carbon, that is 20%. Next, question is given that why should a chemical equation be balanced? Okay, a chemical equation should be balanced because it should obey the law of conservation of mass. According to this law, that mass cannot be created or cannot be destroyed in a chemical reaction. So when you are not writing any balance equation, that means you are violating the law of that conservation of mass. Okay, that you have to write. Next one is given that give one example of skeleton equation. Okay, so we can write one example of skeleton equation, that Mg plus O2 forming MgO. So in this way only we are writing the reactant and product. Okay, reactant we are using symbol or formula, and product also we are using that symbol and formula, but it may or may not be balanced. So in this case this is not balanced, so this is called skeletal equation. Skeleton equation. And when we are writing that twice Mg plus O2 forming twice MgO, definitely it is called balanced equation. So in case of this skeleton equation, okay, or that the reaction or that equation may or may not be balanced. Some reaction, that skeleton equation, balanced equation, both may be balanced. Okay, like we are writing this one, that C plus O2 when you are applying it forming CO2. So in this case this equation, both skeleton equation, okay, skeleton equation is here also balanced equation, so it is already balanced. Okay, so you can tell it that skeletal equation as well as balanced equation. Hope you can understand the difference between the skeletal equation and balanced equation. Okay. Next question is given, state two limitation of chemical equation that cannot be removed. First one, we can tell about the speed of a chemical reaction. A chemical equation cannot tell about the speed of a chemical reaction, whether it is a slow or fast. Another thing, another limitation that cannot be removed, we can write that the completion of the reaction, when the reaction will be complete. Okay, and this problem, okay, and this limitation we cannot eliminate, okay, or we cannot remove. Hope you can understand. Next we will discuss some valency. Sometimes some compound will be given, okay, and here it is underlined, so you have to state the valency of the underlined element. All of you know that this aluminum nitride, and aluminum valency is 3 and nitride also 3, so definitely the valency of nitrogen here, valency of N, you have to write 3. Okay, suppose if I give some compound like C2H4 H6, so definitely carbon is there. Okay, if we write the structure, then you can understand this ethane molecule actually. So here carbon is attached with 4 other atoms. Okay, definitely here valency of carbon will be, here it is underlined, so valency of carbon will be 4 here. So in this way you have to write the answer. Next one, very important, and the last question we'll discuss, that what is the relation between the empirical formula and molecular formula. Question is, what is the relation between molecular formula and empirical formula? Explain with one example. Okay, so if we write that molecular formula of glucose is C6H12O6, definitely its empirical formula will be what? Empirical formula will be CH2O, because here we are taking the carbon is to hydrogen is to oxygen ratio, that is 6 is to 12 is to 6, that means 1 is to 2 is to 1. So empirical formula will be CH2. Hope you can understand what I am telling. Okay, now the relation is that molecular formula is equal to some n into empirical formula. Now what is n? Okay, n is a integer, okay, and n is equal to the molecular formula weight divided by empirical formula weight. Okay, so in case of glucose, how to calculate the value of n? You calculate the molecular formula of glucose, molecular mass of glucose. That means carbon is 6, 72, hydrogen 12, and oxygen 6. This is the molecular mass of glucose, and empirical formula weight of glucose will be CH2O. Carbon is 12 and hydrogen 2, oxygen 16. So it is coming 30. So definitely it will come as 6. So glucose molecular formula is equal to 6 into empirical formula. Okay. So here the value of n is 6. So when we are writing that C6H12O6, definitely if you multiply the empirical formula, that is CH2O by 6, you will get the molecular formula. Okay. So in this way we can easily evaluate the relation between molecular formula and empirical formula. Hope you can understand. So in this way you have to practice the problem, okay, from your book, and as well as you have to read the chapters thoroughly, okay. Until if you have any confusion, you can ask me question in live classes, okay. So today up to this, thank you everyone.